This conference will now be recorded.
Pause it.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so yeah, yeah, okay. So mute our mic. Don't mean just please. Leave this away.
Okay. All right. So you guys can hear me, right? Hello? Hello?
No, truly, yes, they can hear. They can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
All right.
you can use the chat functionality too. Yeah, so you can
Okay. No.
see others who are online will also respond to you. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Wait, did you guys hear what I was saying previously? Or where
they
did you
heard
guys
you.
stop hearing me at?
I think they heard at the single page application, right? Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I'll just recap for single page applications. So basically, single page applications are applications where everything is just one HTML file. Your user does not have to reload the browser to move to a new page, basically. So the first time you load the page, JavaScript handles all of like the transitions and everything. So if I'm on the home page and I want to go to about, the browser doesn't have to reload. Because I'm using JavaScript to upload the views, everything is just done in the browser without making any network call to a server to fetch the pages. So basically, React allows you to build websites like that. It allows you to build single page applications. So React is made up of these things called elements. So elements are like HTML tags, normal inputs, H1, H2, H3, H4. But with elements, you can assign them to variables. So I don't know if you guys can see. I don't know how clear this is. Can you guys see what I'm highlighting here? Okay. So this is a typical element you create. So this is a H1 tag, but here we're assigning to a variable. So this is basically JavaScript with HTML. And in React, your whole app is going to be made up of elements. Yeah. So this is a typical element. And then there's something called components. So components are like isolated pieces of your code. So you have a let's go to Facebook, for instance. All right. So you have the Facebook homepage. Yeah. Now, in the world of components, a component can be anything on a web page. For example, this button, the green button here, can be a component. The input forms can be a component. So components allow you to split up like complex applications or the whole applications into independent parts that you can then put together to realize the whole application. So when you think of your user interface in terms of components, it becomes easier to think about because everything is separated and decoupled. So you know you're not building one huge chunk of something, you're splitting it up into small chunks and then you add them together. That way you can reuse components. So for example, this green button here, because it's a component, I can easily use it in like 5 different pages without any additional code. All I need to do is just import it into my file and I'll use it. So components give you that flexibility. So basically, you have elements and they have components. So like I already said, an element can be um, just HTML that you can assign to a variable. And then your component is just a collection of elements. So your component, let's say you have a button component. Your button component can be made up of a normal HTML button and then a header tag. So when we start writing actual React, it will make more sense to you. So for starting React projects, there's a tool for starting it. It's called Create React App. So basically, Create React App makes it easier to just start up React projects. And like I was already saying in the first call, we use something called JSX to write React. So JSX is a syntax extension of JavaScript and stands for JavaScript XML. It allows you to write HTML directly within your JavaScript, like I already said. So that way you can assign HTML tags to variables. So with JSX, we can do a ton of stuff. But the problem is browsers don't understand JSX. Browsers understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And because of that, you have to compile down JSX code into something the browser understands. Yeah. And in order to do that, we use something called a transpiler. And an example of a transpiler is Babel. So let me go to the Babel homepage just to give you guys an example of how Babel looks like. So Babel is a JavaScript compiler. Yeah. So basically, it says it allows you to use next generation JavaScript today. So basically, it allows you to do stuff that the browser wouldn't understand normally, but you can also compile it down into something it understands. So the reason being is, I'm sure you've heard of Internet Explorer. You might experience some problems where you write code, it works in Firefox, it works in Google Chrome, but then you put it on Internet Explorer and it doesn't work. Everything just breaks. So basically, Babel helps prevent stuff like that. So Babel will compile your code down into something the browser understands. And when you're writing React, you need a transpiler like Babel that does that for you. So we create React app. Create React app comes with Babel, and it comes with a bunch of other tools that are really useful and will help you write React faster. So to get started with Create React app, you need to install it um, in your into your computer. So I'm guessing you have npm installed. So I'd like to know how many people have npm on their computer before I proceed. So if you have, just reply yes.
Okay, hold on. So you guys have NPM installed? NPM. Don't forget my God. Don't. Okay, they don't have NPM installed. Can you guide them through the
Oh,
installation of
you guys have
NPM?
it installed. Okay. Um, all right, just give me a second. So do you guys have Node installed on your computer?
Yes, they do. Yes.
You have Node. Okay, so if you have Node installed, Node usually comes with npm. So just run the following command. Run npm hyphen v in your terminal if you can. So npm hyphen v will give you the version of npm you have installed. So that way you can check if you have it.
Run it in your terminal. You have to run the code in your terminal. Open your terminal, open your command line. npm-v.
Yeah, npm space then hyphen v. So if it gives you a number, then it means npm is installed. If it gives you a version number.
Yeah. Okay, some of them have, some of them don't. So let me confirm. Email me the
Okay,
list.
all right, no problem. Okay, so just one person has, okay, two people.
Yeah, a number of them have. No, just go ahead.
Okay, all right. So now that I have npm installed, the next thing to do is install create React app. So basically, to install it, you have to install it globally. So when you install an npm package globally, it allows you run it anywhere. Allows you run that command anywhere in your system. So to install it globally, you run npm install -g. So I'll paste this command in the chat so you guys can see it. Yeah.
You can paste the command in the chat
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, I just
That,
did.
thank you.
Yeah. So the hyphen G stands for global, and it basically means you're basically telling everyone install this package globally. So run that. Let me run it on my end. So I already have it installed. So all right. So if you get an error and you're running Linux or you're using a MacBook, it helps to add sudo in front of the command.
That's, that's all there.
All right. So just finish installing. So how many of you are running it?
Just give them like 3 minutes, let them finish.
All right, no problem. Whenever you're ready, just let me know.
All of it. So truly, in the meantime, you can just help like maybe I don't know, maybe put it in a small notes, the steps they will take, so that for those that don't, so that for those that don't eventually follow, you just send the file to them, they'll follow it offline
All
later.
right, no problem. We'll do.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, the network is low. Network is not strong. Network is
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Well,
No, just go ahead. Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Just go. Go. You'll get the instructions later. Just go on.
Okay, okay, all right. So basically, if you've installed Create React app, you should be able to run the following command. So to start a new project with Create React app, you type in the command create hyphen react hyphen app, then the name of your app. Yeah. So I'll call this level of react. So I'll paste the command now for you.
Create an app. Create your app.
So that can be any name you want it to be. The level of react, it can be the name of your project, it can be demo project, any name you want it to be. But the command starts with create React app, then develop React. So when you run that command, what it does is that it creates a folder according to that name. So to create a develop React folder and to install all the necessary tools and packages you need. Yeah. So I'm going to run it now and
So just go ahead, Chuba. We are recording the class, so we
okay,
eventually
okay.
follow.
All right. So I just ran it here, and then it creates a folder according to that name. So I'm going to open VS Code in that folder. So okay, so let me know how well you can see. Is it clear enough? Okay. All right. So um, this is the folder that creates React app created for us. So we can see a number of files there, and I'll just briefly explain what each of these files mean. So we see a public folder, yeah, and inside the public folder you have just one HTML file. And now this HTML file is what I already explained is the SPAs. So it is just one HTML file I have in all of your projects, and it's located inside the public folder. So if you open that index of HTML file, you see some text, You can go through this text when you run it. So basically, it has some boilerplate text there, and it says um, this HTML file is a template. If you open it directly in the browser, you see an empty page. You can add web fonts, meta tags, blah 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 here. And they tell you to begin development, run npm start or yarn start. So I'm going to run npm start. Yeah. So running npm start is the way to start your Create React app project. So I'm going to do npm run start. Yeah. Let me close this command. So basically, when you run this command, you're saying npm I want to start my project. Yeah. And then run it inside that folder. So if you have something running in a particular port, it will tell you that port is already taken. So it's asking would you like to run the app on another port instead. So I'm going to type Y for yes. So it's open up in my browser. Uh, let me open that up somewhere else. All right. So if you did it correctly, you should see the following on the page that pops up. So it says it just shows you this. Yeah. So it means our React app is up and running. So now, Create React app comes with a lot of helpful things. So it comes with something called hot reloading. So hot reloading is this thing where you edit a
Chidi,
file. Yeah.
Chidi, this can you just take it slowly, like slow, 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 because you're moving very fast.
Okay, oh my bad, my bad, my bad. All right, so let me go back a bit. Go back a bit. All right, so if you've created the folder, you should see when you come into the folder that Create React app open for you, you see a folder called loading, you see a folder called public, you see a folder called SRC. Okay? So SRC is source. So it just means your source code, your source files. This is SRC is where you're working most of the time. And like I already explained before, we're going to be working with single page applications. So single page application means that it's just one HTML file you're going to be using, and you're going to rely on JavaScript to do the rest of the work for you. Yeah. So if you open public, you see a file called index.html. So this is your typical HTML file. So we React, all of this is just these are just boilerplate code that React uses. So you usually don't have any business with this file. They wouldn't even advise you to manipulate this file unless you want to add something else. So you see something like this, it says you need to enable JavaScript to run this app. Yeah. And that's because basically we're going to be using JavaScript to work on our files. So the following text says this HTML file is a template. If you open it directly in the browser, you see an empty page. Yeah. So if you actually try and open this file in your browser, let me try and view it in the browser to show you what I mean. So if I click view in browser, let me carry that again. Sorry. Um, all right. So I opened that file in my browser and it gave me a blank page. Yeah. And the reason why it gave me a blank page is because I'm just running the HTML file. And it requires JavaScript to actually populate the view, to actually show stuff to your users. So, and then we see this text there. It says to begin development, run npm start. So to actually start our app with React, we have to run npm start. Yeah. So npm start is just a command that we're going to run within this folder that says npm I want to start my project and then to start the project for you. So if you have your terminal open, you just type in npm start within the folder that React open for you. So if you run npm start outside of this folder, it will not work. So it has to be within this particular folder that was created for you by Create React app. Yeah. So type in the command. So that what just came up was when you type npm start, it starts your app on a particular port on your browser. Yeah. If that port is taken by a different project, it will show you an error that the following port is occupied, and you have to press yes to select a different port. So if we come back to our terminal, we see the following. You can now view level up React in your browser, and then it shows you the link that you can view it on. So if I click on this link, sorry, all right. So I have my React app running. So all I had to do was just run create React app, the name of my project, enter into that folder, and run npm start. And just like that, we have a React app running. Yeah. All right. So now you don't want to typically you don't want to see this. You don't want to show this to your users. You want to show them your actual content. Yeah. And now to actually show your own content, it says edit src stroke app.js and save to load. Yeah. So like I already said, src is where your source code is going to be at. Is where your actual code, the code you're going to write, that's where it's going to be. So if you open src, see a number of files. Yeah. So I'm going to explain what each of those files are. So we see app.css. So app.css is your typical CSS file, and it's what powers this page. It's what makes this thing turn. So if for some reason I come and let me just say I remove everything here in app.css and I come back, the page changes. So app.css is what it's just for styling, your regular HTML and CSS. So we see a file called app.js. Yeah. So app.js is where your logic, your actual React code is going to be in. Yeah. So that's app.js. Then we see app.test.js. So these are just tests for the React code. We won't dive into this yet. You see index or CSS, still another file for styling. And we see index.js. You see logo.svg. So logo is the logo, this logo here. And then we see service worker. So I'm not going to go too much, like I'm not going to go in deep too much for service workers. But service workers are what allow you to have offline apps. So offline apps are apps where even if you don't have network on your phone, you can access the website. So how that works is that the first time you open the page, you just save it on your browser. But that's outside the scope of this lesson. So we React just it makes it easier to build stuff like that. So it already comes in here, and then you can choose to use it or not. By default, it's not enabled by default. You have to enable it yourself. So now to actually edit our app, see something, we open our app.js file. Yeah, so it's a JavaScript file. And like I already said, because we're building SPAs, we're going to be using JavaScript to manipulate the views. So as opposed to normally when you use HTML to write to show stuff to your users, here we're going to be using JavaScript. So when we open app.js, we see the following code. It can be scary at first, but it's still just HTML. So if you come here, inspect this particular block of code, yeah, by saying, let me just remove this and let me type something at least to show you something. So, all right, so I've played all of that, yeah. So at its core, let me just write HTML, basic HTML that I used to writing. So H1, yeah, I'll say I am then React. You don't need to bother about the rest of the things here. Just don't worry about that now. All you need to know is that you can write actual HTML here. Yeah. So I'm learning React. So create React app comes with something called hot reloading. So hot reloading means that when you save a file, when you edit a file and you save it, you update the browser without you reloading your browser page. So it makes it faster for development. So you're working on a project and then you edit a file. Instead of having to reload it in your browser, the browser reloads by itself. So if we come back here and open that same file, you see the following text, I am learning React. So it updates by itself. And that's one of the benefits Create React app gives you. You don't have to reload every time you make a change. It just reloads your browser for you. Yeah? All right, so let me explain what the following file is. So React is made up of components, like I already said. So a component is just a fancy way of saying a piece of code. Yeah. So a component is just a file that contains React code. Yeah. So components allow you to split up your project into smaller parts, and then you bring those parts together to realize your final application. So a component can be anything you can think of, anything you find in a regular page, a button, a form, a label, anything. Yeah. So basically, React components, you create them in JavaScript files. So app.js, as you can see here, is a component. Yeah. So what makes a component? So typically components are like classes. Yeah, in React. I don't know if you guys have done classes in React in JavaScript. But components are basically classes. Yeah. So to create a component, let me delete everything as well. Yeah. So to create a component, you have to extend the base component class that React uses. So React comes with a base class, called components. And then when we want to create our own custom components, we extend that class. Yeah. So in JavaScript, extending the class is basically saying, I want to inherit the behavior of this particular class. So let's say you have a particular class that has various methods on it that you can call. When you extend that class, you also have the those same methods of that class. So let me just give you an example. So import React from React. Yeah. So basically, this line is just saying import React from React. We want the actual React code from React itself. Yeah. And then this particular line is called import statement. Is what you use to include packages and modules inside your own code. Yeah. So if someone builds a particular module that allows you to do something and you want to use it in your own code, you have to import it. Yeah. And to import something, you write import, then the name of the variable you want to store that module inside, then from, and the name of the module. So we want to import a variable and store it inside this React variable from React. Yeah. And then we want to create our own components. Yeah. So to create a component, you can use, so there are two ways of creating components. There's the function based and there's class based. But for now, we'll focus on the class based. So to create a component called app, you do class app extends react dot component. Yeah. So currently this class extends this component. Yeah. And then to show, like I already said before, when you want to render stuff to the browser, use JSX. So JSX allows you to use JavaScript within HTML. Yeah. And then to actually render JSX in your components, you have to use a render method. Yeah. So a method is basically a function within a class. Yeah. So I'm sure you guys have done functions. So when you have a function inside the class, it's called a method. So we need to have a render method. So the function is called method is called render. Yeah. And then in React, when you have a render method, you must return JSX. Yeah. So JSX is if you like start with JSX like just HTML you've been writing. Yeah. So to actually show it to the user, we have to return that JSX. Yeah. And JSX looks like your typical HTML. So inside this render method, I'm going to do return. Yeah. So let me just return H1 I am a component. Yeah. So basically what we've done so far is we created a class that extends React to a component because it's a component. So app is our component. Yeah. Now inside that class we have a method called render. And methods are just functions within classes. So we have a render method that returns H1 I am a component. Yeah, so this is your regular HTML. But the fact that you're returning it within a JavaScript method makes it JSX. Yeah. So we say I am a component. Now to actually use for React to be able to see this component, we have to export it from this file. Yeah, because right now everything is just within this file. React doesn't know about this component. We have to export it. So to actually export it also React can see it. We do export default app. Yeah, and then we see. So if we come back and we open our browser, we see our new components. Yeah. So to explain how all of this works, you could be wondering how come we can see this file. So we have this app component here, and then also have a file called index.js. Yeah. So if we inspect index.js, we see the following code inside index.js. The first line says import React from React. Yeah. So basically we're including React code inside this particular file. And then we have import React DOM from React. So try not to think about this file. But basically React DOM allows you render stuff to your browser. It's basically what you use to tell the browser that okay, this is my React code. I want you to show it out to my users. So here we're importing app. So I say import app from app. So this app refers to this our um, component we made here. So in this file, we're saying import app from app. Yeah. So let me remove the service worker file. We don't need it. All right. So basically, we're saying import React from React, import React DOM from React DOM. So React DOM is what you actually use to render your React app out to the browser. So we're saying React DOM dot render. We're rendering our app components that we created here. So we're rendering it out. I was rendering it into this particular element here. Yeah. So when you want to render something to your browser with React, you have to have a component, which is our app. And then you need to have a particular place in your page that you want to render it. So I saying document of get element from ID notes. Yeah. So like I already said, you already have an HTML file. Yeah. when we open this HTML file, like before, if we inspect it properly, we see a particular div, and that div has an ID of root. Yeah. So inside this file, we're saying, we're telling the browser inside this file here, put in our app component. I don't know if that was clear, but what I'm saying is document or get element by ID. The browser will get this particular element already specified in our HTML file and impute our app inside. So basically, what React done, the render does is it just puts all of your components, all of your file inside this particular div. So that's how it works essentially. So we import our app components, and we render it to the browser here. Yeah. So when we come, we see I am a component. All right. So that's basically what components are. Components just allow you to split up your app into various files. So let's create another component from scratch. The components can be called button. So button.javascript.js. Yeah. Now to create a component, like I already said, you need to have React. So we import React from React. Yeah. And then we have a class button, extend React your component. This extend just basically says I want to have the behavior of a component or a React component. So that way our class button has the behavior of a component. Okay. So for let me show you what happens. So let's assuming we don't extend React or components and export our app. So let me remove this from our app and I see when I come back to my browser, I don't see anything. And it shows me an error. Yeah. Because this class does not have the behavior of a component. So when you're creating components, you usually extend React or components. That's when you're using classes, when you're using class components. Yeah. So in our new component called button, we need to extend React or components. Yeah. So now that we've extended it, we need a render method. The render method is how React knows that okay, this component, this is what I want to show to my users. So we type in render, yeah, and then we return. So like I already said, we React are just writing JSX, and JSX is just return, like I already said. So return a button, the normal HTML button, yeah. And inside the button, we'll type and save, yeah. When we come back to our file, let me save it. When we come back to our page, we can't see that button. Now the reason why we can't see that button is because we've not exported the button. And we've not told React that okay, this I want to use this particular button in my project. It's just a file living inside your project. Yeah. So to actually use this button, you have to export it outside so that React can see it. So you export it, export default button. Yeah. So right now React can see this file. Yeah. But it doesn't just stop there. When you export it, you also have to import it and use it in the file. Yeah. So first you define your class, which is also your components. You define your components and you export it. Yeah. And then within our index.js file, we import that button. So import button from so the button is in the same folder, so we just do dot / button. Now button is in our project. Yeah. But we're still not rendering it out. Yeah. So to actually render that button, you come in here, type button, and then see click more. So let me go back now. So you can note how we use the components. Yeah, you're probably used to writing HTML, and you have H1, and H1 pushes itself. You're used to the following format of H1 text. Yeah, so H1 has a closing tag. But in React, when you create a component and you want to use it, Basically just like a regular HTML tag. But the difference is that it closes itself. So the tag closes itself. So you have button, that's another component, forward slash, and then a greater than sign that closes it. Yeah. So I was saying React DOM, we render button and render it inside this root um thing. So here when we come here, we see a button called click me. Yeah. And then we can proceed to click this button. So basically we've created a button component that we're rendering out to our users. Yeah. And then, but Brian, if you notice, we've just been rendering anything. We've been rendering button, just a button, or we've been rendering a component. Yeah. But what happens when we want to render both a component and button? Yeah. So to do that, you write a multi-line JSX statement. Yeah. And in JSX, one rule about JSX is that your components must have a parent component. Yeah. So what that means is that if you have five components, you need to have a component that houses all of them. You need to have a div that houses all of them. So if I put app and I put button, yeah, I'll get an error. And it says adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in an including tag. What that means is that you need to have a parent element. Yeah. So to create a parent element is just an element that you put other elements inside. Yeah. So just a regular HTML div, yeah, and we put these components inside, yeah. So this div here acts as a parent element. So we have a parent div, and then we have these two components inside it. So this div houses these two components, up and bottom, yeah. And then we see, sorry. So when we go back to our browser, you can see I am a component, and we can see click me. Yeah. So basically, we're just telling React these two files, these two components, app and button, put them inside this parents file, this parents component called div, or this parent element called div. Yeah. And just to show you again, if I remove this div and I save it, I'll get an error because they don't have an inclusion tag, meaning they don't have an inclusion parent. So you need a parent to house all of them. And then you have that and the components and click me showing. All right. So at this point, I need to know if anyone is following me. Or this might be is quite far. So if you at least understand something, can you just indicate so I can know the pace to proceed with? And if you don't, it's fine. I can always recap. Just go on. Okay. So it means go on. Okay. Let me start from scratch. Okay. That would help. All right. So you guys have done HTML, you guys have done JavaScript. I'm guessing. And typically you use HTML to display markup. Use HTML to display text to your users. Yeah. And they use JavaScript to manipulate that markup or that text. Yeah. So basically, use JavaScript to build interactive websites. Yeah. Use JavaScript to do stuff that HTML would allow you to do normally. So you can have like a button. Yeah. With JavaScript, you can say when someone clicks this button, show this content to the customer users. JavaScript allows you react to changes that your users do on your page. Yeah. So I'm sure you've gone to pages where you click on something and then something pops up. All of that is done with JavaScript. Yeah. And then basically React builds upon that. React just utilizes JavaScript to build interactive and modern web applications. So you're still going to be working with HTML, you're still going to be working with JavaScript, you're still going to be working with CSS. Yeah. But basically, it just built a layer that you can use. So it says instead of having to write this JavaScript all the time, we've built a set of tools that you can use that makes it easier. Yeah. And then we're going to be working with single page applications, like I already said. So a single page application is just a single page, single HTML file that allows you to use JavaScript to manipulate that file. Yeah. So let's open the same file again. And we have HTML in here. So we have our HTML tag, we have our head, HTML head tag, we have our meta, and we have our link. And you can when you install Create React app and you start a project, you can always go through this file on your phone and see what it says. Okay. Most of it might be familiar and foreign, but the foreign text can help. So it just tells me you need to enable JavaScript to run this app. Yeah. Now the reason why you need to enable JavaScript to run this app is because it's an SPA, it's a single page application. As it's called, the HTML file is bare. There's nothing inside the HTML file. All your code is done with JavaScript. Yeah. And then you have a div here. And this div has an ID of root. Yeah. So this div here is where all of your React code is going to live inside. This is what React uses to put in all of your code, and it's called, it has an ID of root. Yeah. So we see the following text. This HTML file is a template. If you open it directly in your browser, it's an empty page. So in your free time, you can open it out directly in your browser. Let me see if I can open this code. So, right. So if I try to open that file in my browser, I see no text. Yeah. And the reason why I see no text is because it's just a bare HTML file. We don't have any business with it here. All we're using it as is as a base to build our own apps. Yeah. Sorry. So basically, it says to begin development, run npm start. Yeah. So npm start is basically a command that says start my React app for me. Yeah. It's a way of telling React that okay, I'm ready to start working on my project. Yeah. So I'll run it again to show you npm start. All right. So when we run npm start, it opens a page for us by default that renders and the components and click me. So these are the components already created before. So I will explain what a component is again. So a component is basically a piece of code, yeah, piece of HTML code or JSX that you can reuse in your programs on your projects. Yeah. So a component can be a button. Yeah, it can be anything you want it to be. Any valid HTML file you want it to be. That's basically what a component is. So components allow you to use your code. They are flexible. Yeah. And like we already did, they already created a button component. Yeah. And when I say reusable, it means that I can inside my index.js and I have a button component. I can reuse this component as many times as I want. So I can have four of these buttons. And when I come here, I see four of these buttons because I can reuse them. So you can use a component over and over again. So if you have a part of your code and you don't want to type it everywhere, yeah, you're using it in different pages, you just create that into a component. And instead of having to type that file or rewrite that particular piece of code every time, you can just reuse it. The components allow you to reuse your code. So I just want one button and I come here. So to create a component, like I already said, you create a JavaScript file. Yeah. So I'll create a component again from scratch. So new components or JS. So now to actually use components or to write components, we need React in our file. So we import React from React. Yeah. So we have React inside this file now. Yeah. And to create a component, we use a class. So class, the name of our component, anything we want to name it. So class new component. Yeah. Extend React your component. Yeah. So what this line of code is saying is I want a class called new component. I want that new component to have the behavior of a React component. Yeah. So inside that new file, inside this new class rather, you render method. The method is just a function. Yeah. So you have like basically functions are function, let's say function render. This is how the function looks like. Now, when you have a particular function inside a class, it's called a method. Yeah. So inside this class, I will just type render instead. Yeah, I don't need to type function because it's a class. Yeah. So you have render. Yeah. And in React, when you want to when you're creating a component, you need to have this render method and you need to return JSX from the render method. So JSX is HTML, I've already said. So you return which one? Or anything, it could be anything, return a P tag, for example, just P, return P, new component. Yeah. So this is your regular paragraph in HTML, and we're just saying new components. Yeah. So the render method returns this particular thing. Yeah. So what React does under the hood is that React will call your components and call this render method components. Yeah. So now all we've done is we've defined this component. We've not actually used this. We've not even told React about it. We need to tell it about this particular component that we want to use in our app. So we have to export it out. So we do export default new component. So what this code has done is we're saying this new component class, we want to expose it to the world. We want to take it outside of this file. We want other files to be able to import it into their own file and use it. Yeah. So we've done export default new component. So that way other files can see the component and use them. So we save. Yeah. And then we come inside our index.js. So our index.js is like our main file. Yeah, is what we use to see to actually render stuff in the browser. So to actually use that new component we created, we do imports, new components, component, yeah, from dot forward slash new component. So basically what we're saying is the same folder, so just import it here. Yeah. So now we have access to new components. We can use it within our project. Yeah. So to use the components, normally in HTML, you do something like to use the paragraph, you do something like and then close it. You open tag, paragraph, and then close it. Yeah. But in React, to actually use components, they are quite different. So components are usually uppercase. That's why I have app with they're usually title case rather. That's why I have app with capital letter A. I have button capital letter B. I have new components capital letter N. So that way you can differentiate between your regular HTML and your components. So for example, I can have a HTML button, a small letter button, yeah, and then I can have my own button component that I created, capital letter button, yeah. Let me put HTML button. So we have two buttons here. But the difference is this particular one here is our own components. So this is how components look. Okay? So it regular, it has a capital letter B, it starts with capital letter, and then it closes itself. So this is like a very simple component here. And then this is your regular HTML button. This is what you're used to typing. This is what the browser is used to seeing. Yeah. So, and one thing is, we're writing components here. But what your browser actually sees is your browser sees regular HTML. So if I come to my browser and I do inspect elements to view what is actually being rendered in my browser, I can see two buttons. I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't think it's clear enough. But basically, what your browser sees at the end of the day is just two buttons. This button component, when you open the file, is just returning a button. Yeah. So our button.js, which is our button component, returns an HTML button. Yeah. So yeah, basically, so to use your component, you open the tag that is less than sign. Yeah. And then the component name, so new component. Yeah. And then we close it. So forward slash then this. Yeah. So basically, what we're saying here is React render our new component and put it within this div. Like I already said, components need to have a parent tag. When you're rendering multiple components, they need to be nested inside the parent tag. So this parent here is this div. Yeah. Then we come to our browser, we see the components. Yeah. So if it helps, let me see if I can get a quick definition of component. Um, sorry. Um, all right, I can't find any right now, but just think of if you think of components as a custom HTML tags. Yeah. So you can see what we do in the button. I'm not using the regular browser button. We're using our own button that we created. It is your own custom HTML tag. Yeah. So they're basically your own custom HTML tags or your own custom HTML tags that I already just said. Yeah. So you can split up your code into separate files that represent components. So this is a button component. Yeah. So um, all right. So like I already said, JSX is it allows us to use JavaScript in HTML or use HTML with JavaScript. Yeah. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to create a variable. Yeah. Called it can be anything you want to call it. Let me just var name is tree. Yeah. So you know this variable is tree. Okay. And we want to tell React that we want to use this variable. So we want to render, let's say we want to show welcome back. So this thing, yeah. In JSX, that is basically what React uses. In JSX, you use a JavaScript code. You need a curly brace, opening and closing curly brace. So you open and close the curly brace. Yeah. And then you type in the variable you want to use. So here I want to show welcome back. Everything is named here. So I do welcome back, open the curly brace, and I type in the variable name. Yeah. And I save. All right. So when I save and I go to my browser, let me render. So right now we're still seeing the button because we're not rendering the button. We're rendering the button here. So I render new component. So new component is the file that has the changes we just made. Yeah. So render new component and then when we come back, we see welcome back to you. Yeah. So meaning that with JSX we can use variables inside what looks like XML. This looks like XML, except for the fact that you're using an actual JavaScript variable inside it. Yeah. So with this, we don't need to even manually type in the name. The name can be anything. It can be level up, when we change this to level up and we come to our browser, we see it changes to welcome back level. Yeah, we don't have to manually type it in there. Yeah, so we can basically just use JavaScript variables inside our project. Yeah, so to use that, you use your curly brace and your open curly brace. All right. So far what we've done is we've created a component by import. First we import React from React, then create a class, and name of that class is new component, and that class extends React.component. Yeah, and inside that class we have a method called render. So methods are just functions, but they're functions that live inside classes. Yeah, and in React, React requires every component that is a class to have a render method that returns JSX. Yeah, so like I already said, JSX is just JavaScript and XML. Yeah, so it allows you to use JavaScript variables inside the HTML. So that's basically what we're using here. We have our HTML paragraph tag that says welcome back, and then we're using this name JavaScript variable here. And to use JavaScript variables, we have open curly brace and closing curly brace, and then we type name. Yeah, and then we close the tab. But so far here, we've just created a class. We've not told React about it. We've not exposed this class to the world. So we do export default new components. Yeah. So meaning with this line, we've exported it out so that other files can use it. So we exported it. Yeah. And then inside our index.js file, that's inside the src folder. Yeah. All we're doing is we're importing new components from the actual location. Yeah. And then we're telling React DOM to render it. Yeah. So basically that's just how to create the components and how to render it out. You import React, you create a class, and you explain the React component, React component, basically saying I want this behavior for this class. Yeah. And they have a render method that returns JSX. Yeah. So I'm going to share slides with you that have more information on what JSX is and just like a brief explanation of how to use it and the rules around this. So right now we just created a component that says welcome back. Yeah. Um, let's say we have a list, an array. Let's say we have an array of items. Yeah. I want to render it out to our users. So inside new components, let's say we have an array of students. Yeah. So this array is an array of objects, and each object has a name and an age. Yeah. So we have the first object that has name Frank and age of 10. The second object has name of Tony and age of 20. And third one has Martin and age of 50. Yeah. So names. Names are not this properly. Unexpected age of name. Okay. All right. So an array of three objects. Yeah. And then we want to render. So we want to loop through this array of name, and for each name, we want to render. For each entry in this array, we want to render the person's name and the person's age. Yeah. So typically in JavaScript, when you want to loop through an array, there are various ways to loop through an array. You can do array.map, array.filter, array.reduce, depending on what your final goal is. But here, what we want to do is we want to loop through this array, and for each one, we want to return the h1 tag for Martin and the h1 tag for h1 tag for the name and the h1 tag for the age. So basically, when we're done, we want to have something like h1, my name is the person's name, something like my name is Martin, yeah, and something like I am 50 years old, yeah. So this is what we want our final goal to be, yeah. So we want to render something like this. So we want to look through all of the names. Let's call this people. Yeah. So once we look through all the
What up?
people and we want to return this, we want to render the person's name and the person's age. Yeah. So basically we're going to use map. Yeah. So map basically allows you to look through an array and return a new array. Yeah. So I'm going to do that. So we have a bracket. And so basically we create a parent element. So we create a return div. Like I already said, each there's X each have a parent element. So return div. So this div is going to be our parent element. Yeah. And in JSX, when you want to use JavaScript, you use curly braces. Yeah. So we have our curly braces. We're going to say for these people, we're going to do people dot map. Yeah. And then we'll open our brackets and then we have bracket person. Let's just use function. I don't know if you guys have done arrow function, but I'll use the regular function. So people don't map function person. Yeah. So I'm basically saying look through these people, yeah, and for each item or for each person in the array, yeah, return the following. We're going to return the H1 tag, yeah, that says my name is. Remember what I said when you want to use variables in JSX, you use curly braces. My name is open curly brace and close curly brace. Yeah. So my name is person dot name. Yeah. So basically we're looking through people and for each person that we find, we use this function as the iterator function. So for each person that we find, we want to put my name is person dot name. Yeah. So let's save it first and we'll see that. So when we come to our browser, you see my name is Frank, my name is Tony, my name is Martin. Yeah. What we've just done here is we're saying look through this array and return the following. Yeah. So this is your map, your regular array or map function that you use in JavaScript. But instead of returning variables or returning objects, we're returning JSX that we have to use to render. Yeah. So when this map is done running, what it returns is an array of JSX. And React understands JSX. It knows that okay, this is an array, this is a list that user wants to show. Yeah. So we're basically saying people don't have one person show my name is person name. But we also need to show the person age. Yeah. So add a full stop here. I will type I am so really I am person dot the person's age, then quote year old. Yeah. So this is your way of telling JSX that I want to use a JavaScript variable, and that JavaScript variable is person dot age. So you're saying my name is person's name, and I am person dot age year old. When we come back, we see my name is Frank. I am 10 years old. My name is Tony. I am 20 years old. My name is Martin. 50 years old. So for let's put this. Yeah. Yeah. So as you can see, we don't need to reload. React already reloads the page was by default. So what we've done here is we created an array of people that had name and age for each person in the array. And then we looped through the array and returned the following H1 tag, which is just X. I say my name is person's name and I am the following age. Yeah. So now to imagine doing this with regular JavaScript and HTML to be, you can do it, it's very doable, but it will not be as, I won't say simple, but it won't be as neat as this. Yeah. You would have to interact with the DOM. You have to do document, get elements, and so many other things. But with React, it comes out of the box. So what we're doing is we're just telling it what to show. We're looking through the people, and for each person we find in that array, we're just rendering the information. We're saying my name is this name, and I am this age. Yeah. And basically this information is just what's in the original array. Yeah. So basically we've created a component and we look through the variables through an array, rather created an component that looks through an array and shows you the following information. Yeah. So if we come to our browser and we check our console, yeah, our browser console, you see the following error. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you see a warning. It says each child in a list should have a unique key prop. Yeah. So what that means is that when you're looking through an array, each child in that array or each everything you return needs to have a key. Yeah. Now the reason why it needs to have a key is so that React knows which component is which. Yeah. So right now we're returning, if we come to our inspector, our browser inspector, and we open, sorry, I don't know if you guys can see this. But when we open our browser inspector, we see three H1 tags. We see H1, H1, and H1. Yeah, so there are three H1 tags, each for each person. Yeah. But the problem is React doesn't know which one is which. It doesn't know how to differentiate between one, two, three. So it needs to give it a key. Yeah. So now if you worked with array.map, you know that you can have um, the item that you're looking over and then an index. Yeah. So that index can be 0, 1, or 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, or the location. So for this first person, the index of this object in this array is 0. The next one is 1, and the next one is 2. Yeah. So we have this, the index of Frank is 0, the index of Tony is 1, and the index of Martin is 2. Yeah. So arrays start their index as 0. So 0, 1, 2. Yeah. So basically, we want to use something unique to tell React that okay, this particular H1 is different from the previous one. So we use a key property. So we type key is equals to index. Yeah. So the first time we loop over people, this index will be 0. The second time we loop over it, this index will be 1. The third time it will be 3. It will be 4. That way we can ensure that no two H1 tags will have the same index or the same key. Yeah. So if we save and we come back and check our console, that error is gone. The only error you can see here is that app is defined but never used. Button is defined but never used. And that's because we've not used our app and our button components inside index. Yeah. So basically, I'll recap what I just did. So we have an array of people. Yeah. And each entry in the array or each item in the array has a name and has an age. Yeah. And basically, we want to render it out to the browser. We want to show this person's name and their age. So what we do here is we return a div that's a parent component. Yeah, because each React component needs to have a parent element rather. So this is the parent element. This div is one that houses every other thing. Yeah. So we're saying we want to use JavaScript within this JSX. And to use JavaScript within JSX, you use this opening curly brace and closing curly brace. So therefore, React knows that everything within this place here, everything within here and here is JavaScript, like you can see here. Yeah. So we're looping through, we're saying people don't map. We are saying for each person, return this H1, return the following. Yeah. And basically the function we pass to now, this gives us the person. So this gives us Frank, Tony, and whatever, Martin. And we want to get the index. So the index is the location in the array. Yeah, so index is the location of Frank in this particular array. So the location of Frank is 0 because array start at 0. So he's the first person there. The next person is 1. The next person is 2. So arrays don't start at 1, so arrays start at 0. So it's 0, 1, 2. So the index of Frank is 0. The index of Tony is 1. And the index of Martin is 2. Yeah? So basically, the reason why we need the index is so that we can differentiate between each of the H1 tags. because when you're looping in React, you need to let him know that okay, this component or this element is distinct from the previous one. That way, when he wants to update your page, it's easier to update it because you can tell which one is which. So basically, we're saying key. So this key is the index. So for Frank, his own key will be 0. For Tony, his key will be 1 because that's his location in the array. And for Martin, his key will be 2. Yeah. And then we're basically rendering it and we're saying my name is person your name. Yeah. And person is what we got from looking through people. So my name is person your name and I am person's age years old. Yeah. And that's how we have this. So yeah, basically I think I'll try to stop there today. But basically what I've tried to show so far is how to create a component, yeah, and how to render it out. Basically. So I'll send a reading list. The reading list has like just like apply so I'll explain basically what components are, how React DOM the render works, and just a brief overview, like an overview, or just an explanation of most of these things. So yeah, I think that's basically it.
Hello, Chudi. How you doing?
Yeah.
So, how did it go for you?
I don't man, it was alright, but I need to know if like I was really fast or if you understood.
Okay, yeah. So, I'll call up maybe 2 or 3 people to come and give their feedback. So you
Okay.
listen to them. Yeah. So who
Okay.
wants to give feedback? Okay, yeah. Israel, let's come on. So you introduce yourself and then let us know.
Hi, good. I'm
Yeah.
Israel.
Okay, nice to
My
meet you.
my feedback is that I the class is somehow okay too, but as I say, on my own part, like magic, the performances. So, but I believe after on the video, we watch it again, then maybe by tomorrow, and I have other questions to ask.
Okay, okay.
I think that should work. But for now, like magic. Thank you.
Okay. I understand, I understand. Thanks for your feedback.
Okay, you go ahead. Give your feedback and then answer question.
Okay. Good evening, sir. This is Shomaya Ayo.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Your explanation was quite good. Like it went well for me personally, anyway. But I actually had 2 questions I want to ask. Um,
Okay.
Beyond using the Create React app, how can we get to install Babel itself for other projects apart from when we are dealing with React? And
Okay.
secondly, and
Okay.
secondly, I just want to be sure in what case scenario does function based and over class based? These are
Okay.
my
So I'll start from the first question. So you don't necessarily need to use this React app for your React projects, yeah? So React allows you, you can use React independently. What that means is that you can just put a link to the React JavaScript files in your HTML project, and just like that, you have React in your project. So the way you do a script tag in HTML, let's say you have a HTML file and you want to include JavaScript, the way you use a script tag, you can just use a script tag to include React inside that project. And just like that, you have React in your HTML file and you can use React in your project. But for development, I prefer using Create React app because it allows me to do stuff like auto loading instead. So I don't need to load my browser every time. Yeah. And then I also know that there's a particular command for optimizing your React project. If I want to push my project to the internet, or I want to display a wall, I can run a simple command and React will build it for me. So as you can see here, it says create a production build, use and build. So when I run this command, React optimizes my project. Okay? And then it knows how to ensure that, okay, when I display this to my users, it's going to be as fast as possible and as optimized as possible. Okay? But if you want to use React without create React app, you can go, I can share some links for you, and you can just include that in HTML format, and then you can interact in your project. Yeah. And then the second question you asked. So before now, when you want to use, there's something called state. Yeah. So state is basically your data. Yeah. So let's say a user is logged in your website. Yeah. You want to store that on the front end. Yeah. You store that in states. So when the person comes, you know that okay, this person is stored here. Or you have like a counter that keeps track of how many times someone has clicked a button. So the first time someone clicks a button, it increments the counter to one. Second time someone clicks a button, increments it to two. So keeping track of that counter, you keep track of that in states. Yeah, so state stores that information. So before now, when you want to work with states in React, you have to use class-based components. Yeah. And if you're not working with states, I advise you to use function-based. But recently, in a new version of React, something called hooks came out. So basically, with hooks, you can use this in your function components. Yeah. So currently in React, with function-based components, you can do everything you do with a class-based component as opposed to before. Yeah. So and the hooks, the new feature just came out around. I think it came out this week or last week. So before now, if you want to use states in your app, you use class-based, and then you just use function-based for simple components. Components that just render stuff out. But when you want to use states and keep track of numbers and stuff like that, you use class-based. But with the new version, they're basically the same currently. So at this point, there's actually no difference. It just depends on you and which one you prefer typing. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Who else? Anyone else wants to? Yinka, what's up? You want to say anything? Huh? Online, yes, online. The online guys. That your Amakiri. Oyewo, how far now? Ayolu Oyewo. I've not heard you say anything. Hey, Oyewo, go ahead. What's your feedback? You don't have to have a question. Just give a feedback. What can be worked upon? This is Chudi's first class with us. I don't know if it's his first class online, but at least it's his first class with us. So, and we would like to get our feedback so that you can improve on that and make the next class better. For me, the class is okay, but I mean, for you as a student, how do you go? So, unmute your mic and go ahead and speak, please.
Okay, I actually enjoyed the class. It was quite explanatory
Okay.
with everything that they explained, the components, how to connect those components in Index.js, and how to render and return component and return HTML elements on
Yeah.
a component. It was explanatory, well enough.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. So,
Thank
Chudi.
you. I don't have
Yeah.
a question for now.
Oh, no
Okay.
problem. You can mute your mic and. So, Chudi, thank you very much. We have assignments that are meant to
Okay.
get. Yes. So, I already posted it on our WhatsApp group, but let me just say now, so everybody will hear before we leave. I will not say we did not hear. We have two assignments here. So, one they'll get I think tonight, and then they'll
Okay.
submit it on Tuesday latest. So,
Okay.
yeah, and then the other one they'll get it on Tuesday to be submitted on Thursday. Okay.
Okay. No problem. All
Okay.
right. So I'll send the instructions for installing Create React app and the code for those that don't have it installed.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right.
So, yeah.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Hold on. You still want to speak? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So have a nice time. Thank you very much.
All right, go home.
Yes. Okay, we're able to do that. That's still so. But yeah. So the recording, how am I going to find it now?